go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. I'm your host, the Commish here at Masters, joined by two of our draft coordinators. What's up, Dynasty Owl? Doc? How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, excellent.
Good to hear, man. We're talking week 5 waiver wire running backs for redraft leagues. It's that time of the year. Bye weeks are coming. These waiver wire moves get more important every week that goes on. They get a little bit more important. Let's jump right into it, man. Running backs on the waiver wire for week 5 that you're planning on going out and putting a bid on.
Sure, yeah,
Right
I can
out.
get us. I can get us started here. He's probably the hottest name on the waiver wire this week, and that's Damian Williams. Now, I got to be honest. I think a lot of people are probably going to overbid or use that top waiver priority on him, and I don't know if I would do that. I mean, I still think he's a good addition if you can get him. I think he's worth putting a bid on. Nothing crazy, but obviously, David Montgomery went down. They're saying probably about 4 to 5 weeks with a knee injury, not a season ender, but still 4 to 5 weeks is pretty significant, especially when they're saying that now. If a month from now, that knee still isn't 100%, there's a chance Damian Williams still gets, a big share going forward. But small caveat is Tariq Cohen is going to be coming back here somewhat soon-ish. I expect him to cut into a lot of the passing game work like he always has. But yeah, Damian Williams is a guy where we know he took last year off because of COVID. But 2 years ago, I mean, he was electric in Kansas City. Really liked him in that offense. Williams in Chicago actually played more snaps than you would have guessed the first few weeks of the year with David Montgomery as the number one. Looked good in, the time he had on Sunday after Montgomery went down. So yeah, I think Damian Williams is definitely worth an ad, but don't go crazy on the blind bidding or the, using your top waiver priority just because, but he's the hot name this week.
Yeah, I think the only way I'm going all out bidding on Damian Williams depends on my roster. I mean, if I'm sitting at 1 and 3 and dying to get a running back, I might. But I mean, one thing I will add, this is one of those situations too where I know Damian's been a little bit involved, but I mean, you just haven't really worried about Montgomery's touches too much. I mean, if Williams comes out and balls, man, I mean, that could change quickly. Right. In the NFL, everywhere you look, it's committees. I think David Montgomery's been relatively safe from that until now. I mean, if Damian Williams comes out and looks explosive, I mean, those days could be over. That's all I'm saying. So keep a lookout for that. All right, Doc, kick it over to you. What running back are you targeting this week on the waiver wire?
So I'm going to go with a relatively new name. I know a lot of the guys that are still on the waiver wire this week are still hot ads from like a week ago. So a relatively new name to that list is Brandon Bolden, a name we've heard before. If you've ever owned a Patriots running back before, this guy's surely vultured a couple of touchdowns for no good reason. But I will say this, since James White has gone down, there's been a clear and obvious role for Brandon Bolden in the offense, and it is James White's old role. So like I mentioned before, we've seen Brandon Bolden take random carries on the goal line. Now, I mean, very clearly in that pass catcher role as the running back, something that Damian Harris doesn't really get a whole lot of opportunity with. We saw Bolden get 6 targets last week, caught all 6 of those. So I feel like going forward, that's kind of going to be his role. I mean, it's not going to be anything flashy, but it's going to be very similar to James White, where you kind of just slide him in and get 10 points just off a bunch of dump offs. So he's a guy I got my eye on. I feel like he's 1 or 2 weeks away from just having one of those crazy random New England Patriot running back weeks where he'll be worth a lot more. So I feel like he's a guy that's going to have a steady role going forward. You might as well just get him now.
Yeah, I like it. And, it's something we didn't see Cam, in New England's offense last year. We didn't really see James White or the James White role really pay off. Looks like with Mac Jones, that's something that they're utilizing. Maybe Mac Jones being a rookie quarterback. I think Cam should have done it more than he did too. But looking for those safe little outlets. I actually do expect that role to continue in that offense. I don't know if you do. I just don't see it going away anytime soon.
Right. I mean, to me, it's clear that they want to use a running back like that. They have all those years with Brady. They always had someone. And I even had said when they signed Cam that fit-wise, it didn't really make sense because Cam doesn't really like to do the the short, accurate dump offs. He likes to push it a little more. Mac Jones more in that role of short, accurate, quick throws, just get the ball out. I think with the way their offense has kind of reverted back to the way it used to be, I feel a lot better about Brandon Bolden going forward.
Yeah, I feel like Mac Jones a lot more likely to listen to Bill Belichick too.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Cam Newton was. So I like it, man. I think it's a good take, and I actually think he'll be somewhat affordable on the waiver wire this week too.
Absolutely. Well, guys are throwing a ton of money on guys like Damian Williams
or
Kenneth Gainwell if he hasn't been picked up yet. Then yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, speaking of Kenneth Gainwell, that's the guy I'm going with, man. If he's on your waiver wire, and right before we jumped into the show, I had went and took a look, man, because I know that Miles Sanders just hasn't looked that good. I mean, did you guys both know? I mean, sitting here today, going into week 5, Kenneth Gainwell flat out outscoring Miles Sanders currently.
Crazy.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It's close. I mean, he's got him by like 6 points.
Right.
But last week, saw 8 targets, caught 6 for 58 yards, outscoring Miles Sanders. Looks more explosive than Miles Sanders to me. Something I'd read something kind of comparing him to Nyheim Hines. Maybe even a modern day Darren Sproles. Both things that I think fit him. I like him in redraft this year. I like him even more in Dynasty. Just bringing that up, man. If you're in a Dynasty league, I think he's still affordable currently. He's a guy that I'm going out this week trying to make some trades for. I'd love to get him on my rosters. If he's going to, look, he's the pass catching back. He looks more explosive. I just think it's a perfect recipe right now with Miles Sanders not looking good. I think this guy's carving out a pretty significant role in that offense. Pretty excited about it. So for me, it's Kenneth Gainwell, man. That's who I'm out here trying to get this week.
Yeah, I like it. And I can say as a Miles Sanders owner in a couple of leagues, I feel like it's not even a matter of him looking not that great. It's all the Eagles. I don't understand the way they're utilizing their running backs, but they're barely even running the ball.
Yeah,
so
odd.
The box scores just look so bizarre.
It doesn't make any sense. Games. Yeah, I'm not watching these games, but when I see them, I'm like, what could they have possibly done for 4 quarters? It's weird stuff. But yeah, their defense still not that great, and they're in these games where they just have to keep throwing to keep up, and Gainwell fits that mold a little bit better. Not that Sanders can't do it, but Gainwell fits it a little bit better, and they seem to be using him in that role pretty consistently. So yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, really. If you haven't picked him up, this is probably your last chance to, because his value keeps creeping up every single week.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, man, going into next week, because I have both of them on a couple teams, man, right now I'm feeling a little more confidence in Gainwell.
Yeah.
It's sad and it really doesn't make a ton of sense, I'll admit, but whatever they're doing on offense, man, is benefiting Gainwell more than it is than Sanders currently. So, he's a guy that I want. And like I said, it's in redraft. I just wanted to toss it out there. I think he's a nice pickup in Dynasty right now, too.
Definitely.
A guy that was, drafted late 2nd round, probably in the 3rd round in some cases. I was just telling Dynasty Owl before we started recording, I had a league where I had McCaffrey and I took Gainwell like at the end of the 2nd round, thinking I could still get Chuba Hubbard in the 3rd. It didn't work out. The next guy took Hubbard. I'm like, dang, man. Like, I immediately regretted not getting McCaffrey's backup. And obviously McCaffrey went down for a couple weeks. I'm not mad right now. If I had to go back and make the choice all over again, I'd probably take Gainwell again. Which to me speaks, to what he's done so far, his role in that offense. He's a guy I want on my team, especially in Dynasty. So
for sure.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition. 3 running backs that we're targeting. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have another one?
Yeah, I got a little bonus one for you guys. Sort of a Dynasty one as well, just because, short term, it's very speculative if he'll get an opportunity, but, it's come out that Marlon Mack has, gotten permission to seek a trade. So his agent's working. We talked about Chicago with David Montgomery going down. San Fran's had some injuries. Baltimore obviously had some injuries. So I think there's some teams out there who could use the services. And if you get that Bleacher Report update that says Marlon Mack traded to San Fran for a 5th rounder, everybody's going to be racing to their phones to add Marlon Mack in redraft leagues. So I think it's worth a pickup now, but In redraft, it's tough because he could still be nothing the next few weeks. But in Dynasty, I
Right.
think it's worth a stash because he could get traded here right before the deadline, and then that could put him in a good position heading into next off season. So
Which obviously, I mean, Indy's pushing for that too, man. Kind of interesting that they showcased him this last week, and
Yeah.
he didn't do a ton. It was like
Yeah.
25 yards on 10 carries.
Yeah.
Right.
I think more importantly, showing that he was healthy.
Mhm.
I mean, he looked healthy. He looked good to go. So to me, the fact that they even got him on the field tells me that they're pushing pretty hard to find a trade partner for him.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on, man. The minute our phones go off and it says, "Hey, man, this guy was traded to Chicago, value through the roof." Not
Yeah.
through the roof, but it's gonna.
But everybody's gonna
Right.
want him. So just
Yeah,
get ahead of the
exactly.
curve, grab him real quick while he's free, and then you
I
have
like
the guy
it.
everyone wants.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I have him in a couple of leagues where I'm a little bit deeper too, just as a stash, and I don't even plan on using him. I don't even really need him going forward. But same, and I think we did a video. I think the Commish and John Beast did a video, but I'll say Jeff Wilson Jr. too, another one in that boat as well, coming back from an injury relatively soon. Backfield wide open in San Fran. Plenty of guys have had opportunities. Nobody's taken the backfield, so I think he might come back and just eat right away. I've already picked him up in all my redraft leagues. Yeah, it's a guy I like a lot for the same reasons. I think once he's back in that kind of role, he'll be fine.
All right, good stuff, guys. That's going to wrap up this edition. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, love to have you come be a part of the Masters family. Any last words, guys?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, folks.